Why is it not on? Hello? All right, can you guys, all right, so you guys should be able to hear me now. I'm hoping, right? Let me make sure that everything is on. Okay, there it is. It sounds like you can hear me now. Okay, I got it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Welcome to the Razzle World Live Caricature Art Stream. If you're here and you're wanting to learn about caricature art, well, you're in the right place. If you don't want to learn about caricature art, you're still in the right place. Just hang out with me a little bit. And then after we get to drawing, you'll want to learn about caricature art. Anyway, guys, excuse my tardiness today. I had a date with the gym. I had to go work out today and do a little bit of keeping the old, I got to keep the old man in shape, right? So that's what I had to go do today. So what are we going to get into today, man? I don't know. Let me see here. I'm gonna do what I do every day. I'm gonna turn people into cartoons, and then you guys are gonna watch me do it. If that's what you're interested in, you'll stick around. And again, if you're not, then I get that too, right? So let me just get some pens and markers out here. I'm gonna show you some techniques and tips to improve your caricature. If you have any questions while I'm going through the stream, just put your questions in the comment section. As always, keep your comments above the waist, right? We don't want any. We don't do that here, right? We don't talk about anything that's depressing. So let me see here. Now I got this book, The Mad Art of Caricature, out today, and why is that? Because this is a lot of time. I learned a lot from old Tom Richmond. I am working on my own book, and so and what's crazy about writing a book, it's I think I need to follow my own advice and don't second guess myself so much, but it's just what happens sometimes. I wrote it 2 or 3 times and I'll be like, I want to add this, or I want to take that out. And then I was looking at this book. He just added everything into the book at one time, right? I'm looking at the way how he kind of did it, right? So he'll just take like little pieces and put them in with little notes and stuff. So, which by the way, who wrote this book? I mean, not who wrote it, but where's the, mine's is all tore up here. All right, so I want to get into this thing called T-shapes. So I always like to start with that first. All right, so I'm going to put my paper over here. We'll put the other book here. Looks like I got hold on, let me see here. Let me turn off that autofocus. Look like I got autofocus on. All right, and then hold on, and let's go back over here to, let me turn up my contrast just a bit. And then let me make sure we got the right pencil. See, that's just too bright right there. Let me turn down the, I think I need to turn the gain, not the gain, the exposure. There we go. Just like that, and then turn up the brightness just a bit. And a little bit more saturation might help us. All right, there we go. That looks great. Now we apply and okay and close. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, guys. We're going to start with, again, the T-shaped method. What the heck is the T-shaped method? Well, this is something that I definitely advise all beginner caricature artists to start with. And it's basically when you take your face and you use these shapes here. Let me show you in this book real quick, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's see here. T-shapes. Y'all excuse my book; it's all beat down. Let me see. Alpha shape. This is it. But I want to show you how it works in relation to the whole head, so I'm trying to find that one page here. Hold on. Nope. Ooh, man. I just saw it. It was here. Oh, here it is. Okay. So if you look at this page right here, right, it has like 3 faces, right? And then it has a little yellow section in the middle, okay? So what the T shape basically, as you can see, is shaped like a T, right? And then it just goes in the middle of the face. So each one of them have a different dimension, right? If you look at it, you have, and we can just draw those dimensions up here. We have a one that kind of looks like this right here. Looks like a giant T where you can see this part of the T is very big. And then here, this one looks more like kind of a bow tie, right? And this will generally be when somebody's eyes are kind of going down like that. And then you have one where you have an arrow shape where the eyes are going like that. So keep in mind that there are more T shapes than this. But what this does is basically describe the relationship of the head of the eyes and nose to each other, okay? And then your mouth usually will go somewhere down here, if you can see how I'm demonstrating that, okay? So what we'll do is we're gonna warm up first before we start getting into caricatures. We're gonna warm up with a couple of different pictures. Also, guys, I am on YouTube Live, so if you guys are on Facebook, you may not be able to see the references that I am using to draw my pictures with, because my references actually you might be able to see it, because what I'll do is I'll put the reference over here on this screen, and it might kind of give you a partial reference. So let me see here if I can. Let's save this image here. Let me see how well that works out here, and then we'll go. Let's save it here, and then let's go over here and open it up and see how it. Right. All right. So over here you can kind of see a little bit of the face over there, right? So you can probably see a little bit. And so that's the best I can do for you, because if I if I tilt the camera up too much, then you won't be able to see the picture down here. So I'm doing this part with my phone over here. One day I'll figure out how to multi-stream this thing from the same camera. That'll be awesome. So let's go ahead and start that and do a couple examples of it. Excuse me. Get my little coffee out. Y'all like my Iron Man cup? All right, here we go. So let's see how this is going to work out. Okay. We're going to make up our own little cartoons. Okay. So we'll start with our T shape here. Let's just make a little T shape. Okay. And this is an excellent way to start learning, especially for beginners, because it takes away the pressure of learning eyes and noses before you learn what the main idea of caricature is, which is your head shape. Okay. So we'll go here, and then what we'll do is we'll make a shape around that shape, right? And we'll create a little head. Okay. And then our mouth shape will go down here like this. And then usually this shape right here will also encompass your eyebrow shape. So with the T shape, right, you'll see here that I drew it where my eyebrows will kind of go up here on the top. So if this guy was kind of pissed off a little bit, that's kind of how he would look, right? And then we add our neck shape. Okay, so let's just do a few of those across the paper just to kind of get warmed up, all right? So let me see here. We'll make up another one. What if we did a guy with that looks kind of, I don't know, he looks kind of like his eyes kind of go up like this. So his eyebrows kind of go up like that. And then he got his nose shape that does like this, okay? So this is telling me that my eye shapes are kind of going up like this, right? And then my eyebrows are going to be going up like this, right? And then this is already our nose shape at the bottom. So all I have to do is add my mouth shape, whatever that may be. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and add my head shape to that idea. So before you learn how to do caricature, you just got to learn how to draw a face first. You know what I mean? You just got to learn what it takes to draw a face. Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. Let's see what other ones we can come up with here. Maybe we can do one that's kind of where it's shorter on one side. Is big. This is a center line for it, right? And then on this side of the center line, everything is going to appear to be bigger because it might be at a 3/4 angle. So this is my eyes again in relation to my nose. And then you can see here that my brow line will fit right over the top of that. So with this caricature, it might look something like this here. All right, so you can see here I did a little bit of a 3/4 angle on the picture. Remember to take your time and have fun. This is supposed to be a fun exercise. Caricature in itself is supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be stressed out trying to draw a cartoon of somebody, right? Okay. All right, let me see here. I wonder, hold on a second, guys. Am I on? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on one sec, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, wait. Okay, I know what I'm doing here. I'm on the wrong page. I'm supposed to be on Caricatures by Arousal World. Okay, here's where I'm supposed to be. I'm tripping. Okay, hold on. Live caricature class. Done and go live. I am so like I felt like I was broadcasting on the wrong page for some reason. And I was like, man, I must be broadcasting in the wrong place. Okay. All right, so here goes our eyebrows right here again. Again, we're practicing our T-shape method, okay? So we're learning how to take these T-shapes, right? And at first, if you just want to use a simple T, you can use a simple T, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and use a simple T. Also, guys, man, if you feel like you're benefiting from the information, please, tips are awesome, man. We really appreciate tips. I mean, this is what I do for a living. If you are learning, hey, tips are nice, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you in advance, right? All right. Let me see here. So let's use a simple T shape. Okay. And then we'll draw a cartoon around the T shape. So this is a T shape. This is the mouth. Oh, look, TV, right? If you look at TV and then you just do like this, right? You can see here, this might be how the relationships between our nose and our mouth shape. Okay, see our eyes can go right under here. Our nose can go here. All right, so you can see how you can create a caricature like that, okay? So in fact, I'm gonna break it down a little bit easier. We're gonna use TV, right? T and V, right? Or we can use T and we can use TU, right? Or we can use T and the upside down U, right? Depending on what the guy's feeling, right? So let's go with another, or we can use this sign here. This is another one. This is a Y and a V, right? So we have YV, TV, and then we have this arrow shape over a V, okay? So these are all ways that you can place your features, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go with a Y and a V. So we'll do like this. Okay, and then you can see our eye shapes kind of going here. Okay, then I'm gonna go over here to an arrow. So maybe I might do this here. I might go over here and do this one again. Okay. Okay. Again, all of these are ways that you can learn to draw a caricature just by using this simple T-shape idea. Okay. Again, guys, tips are awesome. If you feel like you're benefiting from the stream, you can tip, guys. Thank you so much for your tip. Okay. All right. So let's put it right over here, just so you'll have the information. All right. All right. Let me see here. Let's go over here, and we're going to keep practicing this T-shape idea. And we can make, we'll make some that's, just use our imagination. Oh, so that might be one guy, and then we have one guy that might be like this. That's a different type of T. Okay, and then we have, let me see, what if I do one like this? Okay, and then maybe one that's kind of 3/4 like this. So that might mean my cartoon's looking that way, right? This one might be looking straight, so 3/4. I might have my eyes kind of like this, and then my shape here. So then I can just bring my shape around here, and you can see here that this might be a kid, right? Looking in another direction, right? Just like that. Okay. All right. And then you can use whatever head shape you want to, Use like beady eyes if the person has beady eyes. Right? Yeah, let me see here. What else could I do with this? I talked about this in the chapter on head shape. If you were able to observe and capture your model's head shape as the first step in creating your caricature, then much of the work is determining the jaw and chin shape should be already done. The contour of the head shape will exclude the basic shape of the jaw. However, when we actually get to the point of examining the details, we will need to see more specifics in the shapes. Okay, I'm reading this book here. I'm just trying to see what he's talking about here. Okay. As I look for the shape of the jaw and chin, I try to categorize the face as either lean or heavy. In a lean face, I can see the bones in the jaw, like this one, right? Like this. However, when we actually get to the point of examining the details, we will need to see more specifics in the shapes there. As I look for the shape of the jaw, okay, I get it. So in a lean face, I can see the jaw. In a heavy face, I do not. Okay? I get it. So in a lean face, we want to be able to, when we start doing our head shapes, we want to be able to see the bone structure. Okay? And then in a heavy face, we will not see the bone structure. So it's no bone. And what the heck does all that mean? Well, it's kind of like this. If you look here at this picture, You can see this would be a heavier face versus this face here. You can see all the curves of the bone structure here. But on this face here, you can't see all of that. So therefore, these would be two different types of cartoons. So if we're drawing a guy with a heavy face structure and we want to make fun of the jawline, well, we can do something like this and then put all the features kind of up to the top of the feature, up to the top of the shape. But here we can see this person has more of a leaner face, so we can see more of the curves in the jawline. And then we have to learn how to see the forehead shape versus the jawline shape. But pretty much that's what he's just trying to tell us here. So I don't know. Let's just work on that concept just a little bit. So again, if we see somebody, we have a little picture over here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me back out my camera just a bit, and you guys can probably see over there that I have a picture way over here somewhere. So this is the one you guys will be looking at. Of course, on my screen over here, you guys can see everything on the screen up above my face. So you'll see which one we are kind of working with. All right, so let's see here. I think that we're going to go with somebody with a more adult face. So let's look at somebody, first of all, with a lean face. Somebody like and I want to do somebody simple lean. So let's see here. In fact, let's just go with let's look up L-E, lean. Faces, F-A-C, faces. See what happens there when we type. Okay, so these are people with lean faces. Okay, so let's look at this guy here. He's an excellent example of a lean face. So we're gonna save a lean face, and then we will save a heavy faces, which would be something like these. These are guys that have a heavier jaw lines. This might be a textbook example of why we would use a situation like that. So let me do that. So let's start off with the lean face first. So I'm going to put this over here so that you guys can see. All right. So we're going to start off with the heavy face at first. Okay. So you guys can see that heavy face way over there. Okay. So we're drawing a cartoon of him. Well, how would we start this? Well, how would I approach this picture? Well, what I would want to do, if you look at a jawline, not a jawline, a skeleton. And let's get a picture of a skeleton here for you. Okay, you'll notice in the picture of a skeleton, well, where does your jawline actually start at? Okay. Well, generally your jawline is going to start somewhere around your eye sockets, okay? So what I do is I look right, I usually say around the middle of your eye socket, okay? And your eye socket is pretty much, if you look on this guy here, all right, we can see that just around, I don't know if you guys can see my, if you look way over there on the side, you guys can see me. There's a shape that goes around your eye, and your eye is literally in the middle of this black space here. So this whole part right here is all of those indentions that you see around the eye, you see? And so your eye's going to fit in there. So you want to be able to tell, well, kind of what this shape is versus what the contour of the top of the head is, okay? And then just a general rule of thumb that when you do this, you pretty much are looking at two shapes. And then if you add to this shape here, you have to take away from this shape, or if you add to this shape, you have to take away from that shape. So whichever way you want to do it. So let's go ahead and talk about the heavy face first. So in this particular shape, what I'm going to do is make a shape that's heavier from the mid eye socket down, and then smaller from the socket up, okay? So let's go ahead and demonstrate that really quickly. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go with a T shape first, like we decided, okay? So with this T shape here, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do like this, we're gonna do like this, and then we're gonna do like this. Okay, so that's his T shape. Because you can see here that his eyebrows are going to go somewhere like this and like this over the top of this T shape. Okay, so these will be like the eyebrows, and we're just working with the head shape, okay? All right, now we can see his nose shape here, and then we can see his mouth shape here. Okay, that's his little jaw, right? His little chin, right? Now what we're going to do is go from mid T shape, right? And we're going to go down, and we're going to make a lot of jawline here. And what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and bring it down here, and I'll just come around and back to about mid shape over here. Now notice that I've left a lot more dead space here than here, because obviously this side of the face is showing a little bit more. Okay, then from here I will add my ear shape, because your ear shape also connects pretty much mid eye socket. Okay, again, these are the sockets in the middle of your skeleton right here. Okay. Okay, so once we get there, now remember we're going to go to the top shape. Now, because I made so much space here, I don't want to, even though his forehead seems tall, like, in other words, I would want this shape to be bigger than this shape, okay? So what I would do here is where the eyebrows are, I would do a circle around the eyebrow. If this is a 3/4 view, I'm going to circle around the eyebrow. Now, some people have a very powerful brow line like this. Some people don't, but for this one, we can, again, this is, I'm exaggerating a little bit, and then we'll see here how it just kind of curves back. So I don't want to make this shape very long. I want to make it short, again, in comparison to the rest of the picture. So I'll go here, and you can see how this little curve just kind of lines up with the point of the hairline, and then it comes down here, and we can see we have our shape real easy. And from here, now all we're doing is we're drawing our shape from here. We're coming around the head, right? And then we're coming here to the back, in which we will join the shape back to our head shape. And we can see that we have a pretty good cartoon of him. And then all we have to do is kind of put the bigness of his body here. And we can use this shape in the middle to kind of just put his eyes in there. So since this is the shape of the eyebrow, right, we can see here that this is the shape of his eye here. And then we can see here that this kind of connects just like this, right? He has a wide bridge, so something like that. And then I'll just go ahead and draw my eyes in there like this, all right? So we can see we got a really easy cartoon of him, okay? Just by understanding how to do the T-shape method first to see the caricature, and then adding things to the picture, okay? So this is, again, I'm doing these with pencil, so we're not going to have the dynamics of the line structure and all that for this particular drawing, because really, to be honest with you, that's not that important. It's not really that important even when you're drawing live, because the name of the game with caricatures is, what is it, to get something on the paper that looks like them, but it looks like an animation of them. So obviously dynamic lines and shadows and all that stuff will add to your drawing, but those things are really at the taste of the artist. But this is more like, what I like to teach is the skeleton of the drawing, because I can, teaching you how to draw it in a fancy way, that's all good, but then I don't feel like you really learn anything that way. I don't feel like you'll be able to grow as an artist or doing it that way, learning the fancy stuff first. You want to learn how to do the very basic skeleton of the drawing, and this is why I use a pencil and very simple lines for you to understand caricature before we start getting. And then as you understand this, you'll loosen up a little bit more with your hand. So if I can teach you skeletons and the basic structure, I believe that your creativity will then flow a lot easier when you understand that. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to do a couple of faces. We started with this is being the heavy face. So I think that we're going to explore the heavy face just a couple more times before we move into the lean faces, okay? And how this T shape that we've just been discussing earlier fits into this shape, okay? So let's go ahead and get another face up here. Right now we got our heavy. Ooh, that's a good lean face to draw right there. I'm going to save that one right here as well. Okay, but let's go to a big face. Okay. All right. So here goes another. Here goes another example of a. Well, he's not really super. He's not super heavy, but he does have a heavy face. So let's go ahead here, and we will pick up his face. Okay. So here again, what we were talking about was with the heavy face, and this is where we're at. Remember that with the heavy face, generally you're not going to see a lot of bone structure in the jawline. So you really want to, when you first look at the face, the first thing you really want to look at is this jawline. And where did we say the jawline comes from? The jawline is middle eye socket. If you're not familiar with middle eye socket, let's go back and look at that again. This is the eye socket. This is a general skeleton. Your jawline is generally going to start from your middle eye socket, middle to lower eye socket, right? And it's going to kind of come around the face. The skinnier you are, right, the more of these bones you're going to see in the jawline. The fatter you are, the heavier your face is, you're going to see all of this here. That's why when somebody loses a lot of weight, they look completely different, because you begin to see these bones in their face, which dramatically changes the way that you look. Okay, so what we're doing in essence is we're separating the face into two shapes, an upper shape and a lower shape, and deciding which side of that shape you want to be the dominating force of your picture. If you dominate with the top, you cannot dominate with the bottom. So you can't dominate the top and the bottom. A lot of times when you see these caricature artists on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and they're doing these really ridiculous exaggerations, what's happening is they're not really, even if you look at Tom Richard, he has structure to his drawings. You see what I'm saying? If you look here, look how, if this is small at the bottom, look at this shape, it's big up top. If this shape is small at the bottom, it's big up top. Small at the bottom, big at the bottom, small up top. Small at the top, big at the bottom. So he's always changing the weight of the face. And then here, you even have a small up top, big at the bottom. Because even though the shape is this way, you're looking at the length now. This is a very long face. So more of this shape is dedicated to the bottom of the face than to the top of the face. Here, you're looking at about a 50-50 relationship. Actually, with here, you're looking more of a, no, it's not, because really, if you look at this circle, this is her jawline. Okay, this is her forehead. So you can see here that he put more emphasis at the top of the bottom of the picture than at the top of this picture. So if you always make it a habit, look at that eye line and see, well, where is it? What part of the face do you want to make more outstanding to that drawing? Okay, so let's go ahead and examine this next face here. Here I pulled up a gentleman. You guys on Facebook, again, you should be able to see, it's kind of way over here a little bit, but you'll be able to see what we're talking about. If you guys are on YouTube, you can. Okay, hey, how you doing today, Mountain? How are you today? Welcome to the stream. All right, guys, and thank you for coming out today. My name is Mr. Rouser. I'm your caricature artist teacher for today. If you've never been to the stream, this is your first time, I'd like to welcome you to our class. Basically, I just teach you how to do caricature. If you're interested in doing this as a career or something like that, this is where you want to be at. I'm a teacher, so I don't get into how fancy I can draw a caricature. Sometimes you'll see me come on here and draw some pictures, in which I'll do that toward the end of the stream, but I don't really want to get into that aspect. I really want you to walk away with an understanding. If you feel as if you benefited from the information today, this is what I do full time, and to support my family. So if you feel that you benefited from the stream and you'd like to tip, you guys can tip through our Cash App. It is $Rouser World, or you can just kind of take a picture. I don't know if that QR comes out pretty handy, or you can use the super chat. You guys know how to use super stickers if you're already on YouTube, and put that information there for you guys as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this second picture. Again, we're talking about the heavy face structure. Okay, so let's go over here, and we're going to again, what is the heavy face structure? The heavy face structure is when you're going to have your T shape, and then you're going to have middle T shape around bigger than upper T shape. This is your dead space. This is your forehead. This is this part of the face. In other words, when we talk about smaller shape, we're talking about the actual dead space, meaning that the dead space is where there is no features. That means everything pretty much above your eyes going up. How big do you want that shape to be? Okay? Your skin shape, not the hair included, but just the skin. All right? So I drew the skin here. In other words, I would draw hair here. You get it? So, and then my smile here. You get it? So let's do it again. I would draw my T shape here, connected to a nose shape. I will go mid shape. I will go big shape. I go small shape here. Whatever my hair shape is, I'm going to make this shape smaller than the bottom shape. And here goes my thing. And then here goes my hair. And then here goes my, okay? And it's very simple. You can make the relationship of this T shape very small compared to, but again, I'll come out here. Everything's kind of in the middle. And then I'm going to use a small shape to put my features in the middle. Again, we can use this to make a big smile if we want. It doesn't have to be a small smile. It could be a big little one, whatever you want, okay? All right, so this is what we're working on. This is the heavy face shape, okay? All right, so now we have our picture here. If I wanted to draw this picture, how would I draw this? Well, with this picture right here, the thing is that this guy has almost little or no eyes. So what I want to do is I want to really minimize his eye shape in this picture, okay? And then I really want to make his nose shape big and round compared to the eye shape. So once I see that, now I got his big bushy eyebrows, right? And I got his smile shape here. So let's say he's doing kind of like this here, okay? So I got his general idea of his face. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for mid shape here, okay? And I'm going to come around and I'm going to make his jawline a little bit bigger than what it is in the picture, okay? All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to come around with a U type of a shape, and then I'm going to come back up to the side, okay? You see how I made this a heavy shape here? And then I can just add his sideburns here in a real simple manner, okay? Once I have those, then I go ahead and I add my ear shape. Ear shapes will also always be about middle T-shaped line, and then it will kind of come down. All right, so that's how you would do that. From here, I want to go to my upper shape. I'm not letting anything in here distract me. I'm just simply saying from here up, how big do I want that shape to be? So I want that shape to be basically smaller than the shape that I've put down here. So when I do this, my head shape comes across natural. A way that you can do that is by drawing in your mind, drawing a circle around this, right? And then you can see here, right, is kind of where we want our hairline to be. So we'll just do like this. We'll come across, we'll add this, and then we'll make this a very short shape, and then we'll come around like this. Now we'll add our hair shape in one big shape, okay? I try to look at everything as one big idea, okay? So we can see here that we got a pretty good little cartoon here, and then we got some very small eye shapes here, all right? So, and really with this one, I would have made this a little bit smaller, okay, like that, okay? All right, so once I have that, then I just draw my chin shape in here, right? And then we can see his little neck shape here, and he has some wrinkles in his forehead or whatever, and we can add all of the little nuances around the eye, around the cheek shape, right? Right? And we can see our caricature really starting to come in of him because we've captured that general idea of his head and the relationship of his features to that head shape, okay? So again, you can see here, I have a large space versus a small space, okay? Okay. So that again is the heavy face. We're going to try one more. I think 3 is a charm, and then we'll go to our heavier faces and show you how that would work out. Okay, so let's go ahead and go with, let me see. I see a good one here we can use. Okay. So here we have another large face shape, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, and we're gonna go back and do another heavy face shape, okay? All right, so heavy face. Let's go ahead and just flip this over here. All right, and again, we want a large. If we looking at a whole head, right? Let's assume this is the whole head. Again, what we want to do is we want to decide, do we want to use this much of that space, or, right, if we have the same shape, I do it a little bit bigger, or do we want to have more emphasis on the top shape than the bottom shape? It all depends. So this, remember, is mid T shape. Down here would be mid T shape on this one, causing us to have a bigger forehead, or a smaller forehead. You get it? Okay, so right now we're looking at this one because this is for the heavy face. Okay, all right, so we have this model over here. Okay, you guys can see at the side, and then we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that, guys, for you here on the screen. Okay, so let's go with it. Let's look at this head shape. Now, what are we noticing about his features right here? Well, for me, I see it's a couple of ways you can go with this. I feel like we could go with he has a moderate sized bridge, a root between the eyes into his nose shape, very short shape. So definitely his nose is going to dominate here. And I think the relationship that I would use is not necessarily something that's, I would use this shape here. I'm going to show you what I would use. Okay. I would do something like this. I'll come into the root of the nose because this is where my eyes are going to sit on this line. And then I would use a giant shape like this. Okay, this is what I would use for his face. Okay, why is that? Because now let's look at it. If I put a beard, a mustache here and here, right, and then I put my eyebrows here and here, I should be able to see his cartoon at this point. You get what I'm saying? So this takes away the pressure of drawing everything before you can see your picture. This is a great way to begin your caricature instead of doing all these like sketching lines and a lot of all this stuff here, right? It's too much going on in your mind when you draw like that. So just keep your shapes simple like this. You know, you can draw them in lightly, but this is not a great deal of sketching. You know what I mean? It's very simple. And then now watch what we're going to do here. This is going to be where his bridge of his nose is right here, because we already outlined that with our T shape. Okay, and then we just basically add our eyes inside of that shape. You see, so I can see him from right there. Now, what I want to do is I'm going mid T shape, right? And I'm coming down with a big shape. So what do I want to do? As a caricature artist, how big I want to make that shape is up to me. I mean, if I want to do something that does all the way like this and just go right into his shirt, okay, and put a shirt shape down here, I can do that. You get what I'm saying? And then I'll add this shape. Now watch this. Now what I'll do here is I can add his mouth shape here, right? Okay, and then I can add this bottom lip, and then I can do something like this. Okay? And then add these big jabby jaws here. Okay? You see how that works out? Okay? Now, once I finish that, I'll go ahead and I'll add my ear shape, which is going to be very minimal on this picture. He didn't have very big ears. Okay, so again, that's going to usually come from mid T shape down. And now from mid T shape up, I just need to make sure that this shape here that I've used, right? I need this shape up here to be smaller than, like this, in relationship. I need it to be about that small compared to this. So watch what I do, right? You might think that you want to draw something that's way up here, but you don't want to do that, because watch what happens. I'm just going to draw a tall shape that's exactly as big as the bottom. You see how that doesn't look aesthetic? It looks like him, but not really. So what we want to do, watch, let's erase that, because we don't want to do that. Take my advice. Okay, what we want to do is we want to do something like this. I'm going to make it extra short compared to, so I'm going to go here, 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 and here. Now, watch what happens when we add our hair in there. You see? So it looks more like a little cartoon of him, right? And then we got just enough to add a little bit of a meatiness over the top of his eye shape, right? We can add these little lines under the eye, whatever we want, right? Coloring these shapes over here. And maybe even just do like this here. Okay? So you can see here that we got an easy little cartoon of our guy. Okay? Real quick and real easy. Okay? Now, if you look at the eyes on that guy, I know you're wondering why I chose that particular shape. Because if you look at the shape of the T shape, what I'm doing is, you can look here, you can see the down slope of his eyes right here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the T shape to be like right over the top, coming toward the root and back down and then back in. I'm going to establish the center of the eyebrow, the eyes, so to see whether this shape in the middle between his eyes is, what do I think is thick? Do I think it's thin? Whatever. And then what his nose relationship is in relation to this. So I see a very short shape going. In other words, if it was a T, I feel like my T is short here and longer here. So instead of drawing a straight line to represent the way his eyes kind of go, I'll draw a line like this, and then I would draw the short shape. You see what I'm saying? So this is really what I'm left with. And my nose can't do nothing but come to the center of that shape, leaving my eyes only a certain amount of space to do things with. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I'm looking at this. All right. Okay. So we've done 3 of the heavy. So now we're going to, 3 of the heavy bottom face. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go with the next shape, which is the lean. Okay. And what does that mean? That means that what happens when a person doesn't have big jaws or a big bottom of their face? How do I approach that? Okay. So the best way to do it is we're going to go ahead and demonstrate for you. Okay. By the way, guys, if you are benefiting from the stream, thank you, tips. I appreciate it. Tips can be done at Cash App and also $Rouser World, and also through the super chat. If you're on Facebook, don't forget to hit that star button, man. Stars are important for us. Again, this is what I do full time, so certainly you can understand. I don't really have to go into a great deal of explanation that you're sharing with somebody. I'm trying to do something to help you guys out, so you can help us out by tipping, or you could also do the stars if you're on Facebook. So thank you a lot, guys, for your generosity in advance. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into our chiseled or heavy faces. So I'm gonna find, I think I downloaded one here. No, that's not it. I think I had one here. Okay. Okay, so over here we got a guy. I like to pick out people with very strong facial features for their for practice, and I recommend that you practice that way too as well, because it really is going to help out your caricature drawings. Okay, so let me put these I want to put these notes here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to actually put this here. Okay. So make sure that we have them. Okay. And then what was you saying here? This was let me just put this here. Forehead. Shapes. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right, so here we're gonna talk about excuse me. I'm gonna talk about lean faces. Okay. Hold on one sec, guys. Hold on. Just a second. Okay. All right. So here again, we're talking about lean faces. So these are faces that where you would not see a great deal of the jawline. So what does a lean face look like? Well, let's go over here to this book here, and we're going to visit again how we can tell the differences between those. So let me see here. Here. Okay. And just a minute here, guys, so I can find this page I was on. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So, lean. What are we talking about today? We already went over the heavier faces, which are these faces here, pretty much, where your face is very heavy, so you can't really see a lot of your bone structure in this face. This face over here is going to be a leaner face where you can see a lot more of the curves in the face, a lot more of the chisel of the jawline and chisel of the cheekbones. If we take a look at a basic skeleton, you'll understand what I'm saying. As you begin to eat more donuts, right, or tortillas or whatever it is that you eat, you begin to cover up all these bones in your face. Therefore, your face will take on a larger appearance, which again, we've already covered that in the previous section of our stream. So now we're going to do what's the other extreme of that, where that's where you really don't see all of these bones in the face. You actually see the bones in the face, and you can see the structure of the face more, okay? Or what we term the chisel face, the Superman kind of a face, okay? Or some don't go as extreme as Superman, but they just know that they don't have as much softness to the bottom of the face, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that really quickly. These are also examples of that, just to go ahead and point you. If you look here, you can see a lot more angles in the jawline, right? But here you can't see as many angles as these faces, right? So these jawlines are a little different. This one's a little bit more angular. Okay, then you can see here what the relationship is with the top of the face versus the bottom of the face. And how we can tell where the top of the face is, all we have to do is look at that purple box right there, that purple shape right here. And then if we look at the bottom of the shape, we can see that there's more space here or more space here. Here you can see there's more space here and less space down here. It all depends on what look you want for your caricature. This one has a lot more space at the bottom than on the top. This one also, again, a lot more space here than it is up here, okay? And then this one here, the same exact situation. So you'll see if in a lot of guy caricatures, you're going to notice that you're going to have a lot more space on the jawline, or especially with older men. Now with kids, you're gonna find an opposite extreme, and this is what makes kids look like kids. But we're not going to get into that in this particular video. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to explore our lean face. Okay, so let me give you a basic breakdown of the lean face. First, we're going to go back and talk about our T shape. So this is what our relationship is of our eyes, again, to our nose shape. Okay, and then once we have that, we figure out where our mouth shape would be. Let's just say this is a mouth shape, just real simple. And then mid T-shaped line down is going to be your jawline. So in a chiseled face, again, you're going to have a lot of angles in the face. So you're going to see stuff like a lot of faces like this, right? And then you're going to have usually a smaller section up here, and then hair will be added to that shape, and then your ears will be added here. You get it? So you might see somebody with a little beard or a little mustache, or the eyebrows go here, but this would be the basis of this idea. Now you could also have a smaller relationship here, and you could have somebody that has very chiseled cheekbones and a chiseled face all together. Everything is just very chiseled out in the face, because you kind of want a Superman thing to go on in their face. Okay, you can see the ears here, and maybe he has a huge Superman smile, right, with the eyebrows, and maybe he has a huge neck like this. So he tends to look a little bit more like Superman-ish, you know what I mean? So these are the types of faces that we're going to be talking about for this particular section. So we have our model over here. You can see our model way over there, right? And this guy right here is going to be, he's what I would consider a chiseled face kind of guy, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to first figure out what his T shape is. Okay, so what would the T shape for this guy be? I would simply say something like this. I would do a T shape like this, and then I'll come down here, and then I'll do a T shape like kind of like this. I'll make his nose kind of pointed down and out, and then something like this. Okay. All right, and then you can see here, these are where the two little indentions over his eye would be at, okay? And from here, I will bring the shape down, right? And then I'll do something like this here, all right? So now we can see, I'll just put some lines around the eyes. And this is an excellent way, again, of being able to do your caricature without having to draw all of the features in at one time at first. Now, we're going to go mid T-shaped line, and we're going to figure out, well, what is it that we're looking at? So here we go. We have our brow line, right? So we're going to do, where would his brows be? His brows are going to kind of be at the top of this shape right here. Okay? See how this T-shape helped me to see the angle of the eyebrows? And then I will go here, middle T-shaped line. I will come out, okay, chiseled into this shape here. Then I will come out, right, and chiseled into this shape here. And then I give him a good, like, chin that kind of sticks out here. In fact, I think that I would go ahead and just do the chin like this, just really make it stick out like this, okay? And see how he has this really deep drop here, because he has all these little hairs right here. So he has a really deep space here, which I could have really got away with making that space a lot bigger. But I'm just, now what I'm going to do here is just come off the top side of this T shape, right? And you can see how I'm building and I'm seeing his cartoon. Before I ever draw a feature in his face, I'm drawing everything kind of around this. Again, I just want a basic idea of what the structure of all this is going to be before I start. Okay, now we're going to go back mid shape, and obviously because this is a 3/4 face, we're going to start a little bit further out from the T shape on this side. So again, we're going to come down, and what are we seeing here? We're seeing a nice chiseled jawline structure coming into this shape here. Okay, and then we have this ear shape here. Now here's a really big ear. So what we'll do here, we'll come over here, right? And then watch. What we'll do is we'll add his earrings into the shape, right? And then we'll go ahead and draw our big ear shape. Okay, real simple. And then you can see here that his neck is like coming off here, and he's really again a chiseled guy. Okay, now we're gonna go to our forehead shape, which I actually got this picture here in the way, so I might not be able to get all of his hair in there unless I go back and I erase this guy here. Let's just erase him. What the heck? Just so we can have them all the way. And it doesn't have to be a totally clean erase, as long as you can see what we're basically trying to do. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead to our upper shape here. We're going to go back with that slope of the forehead. Again, with this particular character, I want my upper space to be lower than or smaller than my jawline space. Okay. So I want a scenario like the one that I showed you here. Remember, this is your jaw line from the mid T shape down. Is going to be your jawline, and then from here up would be your forehead shape. Forehead shape is the shape of your hairline pretty much. Okay? That's where you want this shape to be at. All right? So here I want this shape to be, even though in the picture it seems to be very big and large, I don't want to do that in the picture because it's going to lose the likeness, because I want your attention to be focused down here. I'm going to make more of the shape bigger here, okay, than I would up top. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I slope that forehead back, and I'm going to create my hairline right here. Watch how his hairline does this, and then it kind of just goes back and then comes back in like this, and then it just kind of does like this. It's really light, okay? And then you can see this shape here coming off the back of his head, just kind of slope down like that. Now watch, all we have to do from here, right, is we want to go up, and we want to create his spiky little hairdo. Okay, so you see how we were able to build that picture, right, without ever having to draw any of those features in yet. And now all we have to do is just kind of go from this top shape here up and around, right? And then we can see where his eye shapes will go, and his and also his nostril shapes. All that stuff can fit in later into the drawing, but also doing it this way gives us an awesome way to be able to track our drawing again and know exactly where everything fits. Because if you don't get this relationship correct with the relationship of the head, even if you draw the right features, you will get an incorrect caricature, if that makes sense to you. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Felix Talks? How are you today? From India. Okay, we got India in the house. Man, awesome. Okay, so that is example number 1 of lean faces. Okay, so now we're going to go to example number 2 of lean faces. Okay. All right, so this is lean faces. Example number 2. So what we're going to do is pull up a lean face over here. And this is what we'll do. We're going to go with, we're going to term this one, we're going to term it chiseled men faces. Okay, so this is an example of a chiseled face. Okay, if I'm drawing him it's kind of like, what do I want my cartoon to feel like when I'm done? Okay. So with this character right here, when I'm drawing a cartoon of him, the whole idea of this caricature makes him look like a really tough guy. Okay. So in order for him to look like that tough guy, I want to accent his bone structure of his jawline. I want it to look very manly. Okay. Nothing soft about the jawline. Okay. So how would I do this? First thing we're going to do again is establish what our T shape is. Okay. So we can do this. With this T shape here, I will do something like this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Then I'll come down here and again establish what I want my eyes and nose and the relationships between them. My eyebrows will then go somewhere over the top of this shape. So here I have established what feeling I want for my caricature to have. Okay. From there, I can now do my mouth shape and basically where my beard is. I can even draw features around the eyes to further map out where I want those features to go at. So as you can see here, it already kind of looks like him before I even get started. Okay. Now, once I have that, I'll go back and I'll look for mid T-shaped line down and look at his jawline. So with his jawline, he doesn't have powerful cheekbones, but he does have a powerful lower jaw. That's what I would do here. So what I do is I'll come from here, I'll come down, and I'll make this shape very chiseled. Not too chiseled because he does have a little bit of softness, but a little bit of chisel. Then I'll come here and I'll add my chin shape, and then I'll come here and I'll add the other side of my shape. Okay. From there, I will then begin to add my ear shapes because my ear shapes are always going to kind of connect mid-line. Doesn't mean that they won't go above the line, but this is where I start. So if I'm going to go up like that, I want to start mid-line, go up, and then come back down. So what I'll do here, I want to get the basic structure of the ear shape. Okay. All right. And while we're down here, let's go ahead and get the structure of the beard. So that's going to help him look even more chiseled. Okay. Now, what's next here? Let's go ahead and draw our forehead shape. Remember that with these types of shapes, your forehead shape is usually going to be shortened to some degree to help you to get that likeness. But first, we want to establish our brow line. So even though our brows are here, because this is a 3/4 view, what I might do is I might come across here and bring in my brow line like this and slightly protrude it out because that will make his face look a little bit more Neanderthalish, if you will, and a little bit tougher. Okay, so even though that's not readily apparent in the picture, I might do it in my drawing. Okay, let's go ahead and just do this other side of the beard shape. All right, now that we're there, we can go to our forehead line. So the forehead gets pretty easy to draw once you establish this line. because this line also tells me where the edge up line is on the other side of the head. Okay. It also tells me, all right, I want this shape to be short. And because he's at a downward, his head is at kind of at a downward tilt, I would want this to be a round shape. Okay. That connects back here with this shape. Okay. Then from here, we'll add the side of the head. And then I can add the back of the head over here if I want. And then from here, we can go around the top of the head. Okay. Again, I'm just using simple lines. In a real caricature, I might have drawn this with a breaking line instead of using a hard line. Right. And then once I have that, I'll come here. Draw my neck shape. And his general shoulder structure. Okay. So everything is pretty much exaggerated from this point. So what now? That's once I have this part and I can see my picture, this part of your drawing should, if you're beginning caricatures or even if you're seasoned, just this part should be drawn very lightly. This little shape in the middle that we started with, that should be your sketch, but not a sketch not like a bunch of line sketch. It needs to be a definite shape that you put in the middle of your drawing like this, and then you building everything around the drawing so it becomes easy to erase when you do it. Okay. But now what can I do now? I can go ahead and I can start drawing in I can start outlining the face like I want to. See how I can make the nose shape come in a little bit more, right? Round this off, right? And then here you can see where my shape is going here. I got this shape here. I got my top of my eye here. I got this shape coming in over here like this. All right, got this shape coming in over here like that. You see? You see how everything just kind of fits in? Because I already can see those relationships in my picture. The picture becomes very easy to draw at that point. Again, you want to establish the alpha shape first, which is this head shape, and the relation of the features to the head shape in order to draw this type of face. Remembering that when you draw lean faces, you're going to see more of your bone structure, right, in these types of faces than you would if you were drawing a leaner or a heavier face, which we've already gone through some of the heavier face scenarios. Okay. All right, guys. So don't forget, if you are benefiting from the information and you want to tip your art teacher today, this is what I do full time. Online, I do teach. There's a lot of people that want to learn to draw and do something with their talent. And so I decided to start a YouTube channel where I help you do that. And so tips are appreciated. If you feel like you're benefiting from the stream, that's super awesome. Thank you so much in advance. You can tip through our Cash App, or you can tip through the Super Chat if you do know how to use Super Chat or Super Stickers. Thanks a lot, guys, in advance. Okay. All right. So let me see here. We're gonna go through one more example of the lean face. Okay. And then after that time, I'll draw one or two just caricatures, like just for fun, just so you guys can see how I go through the process, but not so instructional in those. And then we'll do our word of the day. This is our itinerary, and then we'll get out of here. All right, so let's go with the lean face. Okay, number 3. Okay. So this is going to be an example of the lean face. and it's going to be example number 3. Okay. Excuse me. All right, and all right, so here we go, guys. Let me find another example of a lean face. Okay. All right, so this guy right here has a pretty lean face, and he's a little younger. Okay. So this is the next face we'll go with. All right. So we're drawing a picture of this guy right here. Where would we want to start at? Okay. And just because it's good looking, don't go changing up what you're trying to do. A lot of times people will see somebody that's good looking and they'll be afraid to mess up their face. And the thing is that you can't mess up their face. They're gonna look the same when they leave in front of the drawing board. But I think the key to it is just not trying to do too much in your drawing. Okay, so with this particular drawing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go with a moderate T shape. He really doesn't have a lot of expression to his face. He's kind of just staring at the camera. These make for boring caricatures, but I'm just for the sake of us showing you how it works, we're going to use a boring kind of a face, okay? All right, so we're going to start with our eye. We're going to use a pretty equilateral situation here. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to establish that his bridge of his nose is not really big, right? Okay. And then we'll go to our round shape of the nose. And this is kind of what we want our features to go. Our eyebrows will go about right here, right? And we're going to keep it simple. Okay, and then we'll do like this, and then we'll add some little, all right? So you see how we kept our picture real simple, all right? Let me see, I binge watched your videos the past couple of days. Okay, hey, right on, Fox Lux. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for supporting the channel and watching the videos. Okay. All right, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do our mouth shape. So I might do something like this, and then do this, and then do the bottom of the shape here, and then add the little mustache shape. Okay. So with these kind of drawings, especially with young guys, you want to watch how many lines you put in the face. The biggest mistake you can make, too many lines in your drawing, was going to make your caricature look like an old person. Okay, so minimize how many lines. Try to get to where you're going with as least lines as possible. Okay, all right. So from there, what am I going to do? I'm going to look at mid T-shaped line. Okay, once I have mid T-shaped line, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look for where I want my shape to be generally end at. So I might do something like this here, just to tell me I want my shape to end about right here. So this might be his little goatee shape. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go cheekbones, and see how I did a pretty good little curve, a pretty tight curve into the jawline. Okay, and then I'll add my neck shape here, and it looks like he got like a little necklace on here, which we could just do like this here. Okay, now from there, what do we want to do next? Hey Tammy, how are you today? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, appreciate you coming out today. All right, now from the mid T-shaped line down, we'll add our ears in. Okay. And then now what we want to do here, he doesn't have a very strong brow line because he's a very young guy. So what I want to do here is I'm going to use his edge up to show me where I want to go. So if you're a barber, if you ever cut hair before, you know you want to look at your edge up line. So that's what this is. And I'm going to make this a little bit shorter than this area down here. That rule really doesn't change for me. Okay. You see? Now, once we have that shape, we'll go ahead and then we will draw our outer shape here. So we'll look, he has kind of a fade line. He has a box type of a cut. So I'm going to go right here. I'm not going to connect it. I'm just going to do something like this. Down here, I'll use a lighter line so that when I show my fade, I can just, go with it. And then up here, I'll just do, he has braids. So what I'll do here is I'll just get my braids the way I want them, right? Skip a line, skip a line, skip a line, and just do something like this. Because remember, it's all about impressionism with these types of drawings. You don't have to draw exactly what you're looking at. You just draw something that looks like it, okay? And so then you can see here that he has like these little splits in between his braids. So we can just do something like this, right? Get it? All right. And then from there, we'll just kind of, I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm just going to show you how we'll do some quick braids with a pencil. Just for the sake of demonstration. Okay. And then over here, I'll just come here and I'll just give him a fade, right? Like that. Go ahead and color him in the brow shape. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just add the middle here. And his nose shape here. Okay, as far as the eye shape, so what are we doing now? Only thing we're doing is we're saying, okay, I want my shape to be here. This is the top of the eye right here, right? And I'll put my eyes in here like that. And then I just come down here. I already know where my eye line is going to go. Okay. And then pretty much we're done with the picture. Okay, we might add his little beard. He got like a little bit of a beard shape here. Okay. Here you got a quick little cartoon. Right? Hey, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate it. Man, awesome. My first tip of the day. Thanks, I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I sure could. Who am I drawing for you? I sure can. Did you send a drawing to me already? All right, and that is lean face example number 3. How to draw a lean face. Remember, we want more curves in the jawline and not too many lines. Especially with the young pictures, you want to make sure that your pictures are younger, okay? All right, so real quick, let me go to Facebook and find out who this person is. So let me hold on a sec here. Let me go to Facebook. All right. So we got him right here, Tammy. All right. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. All right. So we have a request. If you guys want a request, don't hesitate to send your request in, right? I'll go ahead and take care of you. Okay. So we're going to do a quick little request drawing. Okay. So let me get some pencils and markers out here. And I'm gonna go ahead and use everything that I showed y'all today. I'm gonna do a light sketch, a light little sketch of the thing, of the drawing itself, and most of the outside line work is just gonna be done with a Sharpie. So I'm gonna let you guys know that now. All right. Make sure I got a good. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. Let's rock and roll. All right, so with this drawing here, again, we want to take our pencil and we want to figure out what his T shape would be. So I would do something like this. This is a light. Remember how I said to sketch it in real light, and then look at what you want this to feel like when you're done. Okay, so once I have this shape right here, I really don't need anything else because I've been doing this a while. So I'll just go ahead and start with the picture. Okay, so here we'll have our brow line. Okay. Okay, and then what I'll do here is I'll go to my nose shape here. Okay, and then we'll go with our mouth shape here. Okay, so from there we'll go mid T-shaped line. His face is not really too chiseled, so I won't use a lot of sudden turns in the face. And then I'll add my ear shape. Okay, and from here I'll add my neck shape. And then I'll add my shoulder line. Okay, from here, what we want to do with hats especially, I'm going to tell you a good trick to do is just go ahead and draw you a little box up here, like a little square. This way you'll have a basis to put your hat around, because sometimes it's hard to see what you want to do. So from there, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll just look at it and say, I want to do something like this. Okay. Okay. All right. Ah, boy. The little fella is mad again. Let's go ahead and put the eyes in here. I have a small shape here, so I want to make sure that I get in kind of small on that. Okay. Okay. Not too many lines here. As least as possible. Okay. And then we're going to put these glasses in here. So I'll just do something like this. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and add the okay. Let's go ahead and add the side of this hat here to the outside of the box. And then we're going over the top of the box here. Not by much. Okay, and we'll add these little sides to the glasses. Okay, let's go ahead and add our hairline here, which I could have I'll just do like this here. There we go. All right. And then we'll add this top blip here. Okay, even though you really can't see this in the picture, I'm gonna do this just to keep it from looking so empty like in that. Since I widen that up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just detail out the eyebrows and eyelashes and stuff. Okay. All right. So from here, I can just erase my little T shape. See how light I put it in there? So it makes it easy to come out right there. Again, guys, tips are appreciated if you feel like you benefited from the stream today and you want to tip. Okay, now let's go ahead and do some shadows with our drawing. Okay. Again, not too many lines. Okay. And now let's add some darks to the picture and then we'll be done. I personally like to add a lot of contrast to my pictures. I feel like it really adds something to the drawing when you do that. Okay. So like up here with the glasses, because I'm doing black and white, I can get away with doing this. All right. So I use it to kind of balance out where I want your eyes to look. So you can see those darks here, and it's kind of layered down the drawing. You know what I mean? Okay. And then I don't know, maybe we can just put like a little bit of a background here. And then what I'll do here, I'm gonna use a kind of like a tree fade out almost. So this will be like the bottom of the trees here. And as you get further back, you'll see that the trees is dark back here. And as you get up here, they start to get a lot bigger. And then you got like really big trees here. So we just added some little trees back there, right? And then we'll add some little birds. And some sun outside. Happy day, right? Okay. And pretty much, gosh, I think that's it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sign my work. All right, and that's how you do it. All right, so it's the same exact concept that I showed you from our live stream, where I just take the look at the jawline a lot. That's a lot of where my focus goes in the picture, and that tells me what kind of face I need to draw. I do offer classes online, guys, so if you're interested in learning more about caricature and you like to have that one-on-one experience where you can ask those questions that you want to ask, and I'm sure you have some questions and stuff. I do classes online. So you right now we're doing a special on those, which I had already put that up here for you guys, but I'm gonna put it up here again just kind of randomly. Let's paste that up there, and then we will do this here. All right guys, so I think 9:30, 10:30, 10:30, 11:30. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, guys, and we're gonna start getting ready for our word of the day. Okay, so I hope that you guys were able to learn something from the stream today. We did quite a bit of drawing, and so now I want to leave you with a word of encouragement. All right, Tammy, and thank you. I really appreciate you tipping me today. That was really awesome of you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, it's been a little bit slow last couple of days going out to work. I don't, maybe it's because school just started back or whatever. I don't live in a town where we do have tourism here, but not like nowhere on the level of when I was drawing in San Antonio. So it's sometimes it's a hit or miss thing. I depend pretty much on a lot of repeat customers, to be honest with you, and just some kind of way God's been looking out for me. You know what I mean? That I'm able to, like, I don't know, take care of this family or whatever. I don't know, drawing cartoons, doing it. So it's kind of like a wow, So anyway, let me go ahead, guys, and get my stuff ready for the word of the day. Again, if you'd like to tip because you feel like you benefited, Cash App is an awesome way to do it. Also, you can do Super Chat, just like you saw here just a moment ago. All right, so give me about, 2 minutes or so. I'll be right back, and then we'll get into the word of the day, and then I'll go ahead and get you guys on your way. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming out. I appreciate you. All right, guys. So welcome back to the stream. I really enjoyed having you here today. If you felt like you benefited from the stream again and you want to tip, tips are awesome. Thanks a lot, guys, in advance for that. Let me see here. Other than that, guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to, excuse me one sec. We're going to go ahead and get into our word of the day. So why do I do a word of the day? It's pretty simple. I like to, I don't want to tell anybody how to live their life or anything like that. It's no different than artwork to me. I come here and I share ideas and concepts that make my artwork better. Okay, this is one of the things that make my artwork better because it improved my way of thinking about the world. A lot of times people look at the Bible and they get overly religious about it, or they turn off their ears to it because of what the world has taught them about God and taught them about rules and structure. So they turn it off. They don't want to listen to it. And that's okay. I'm not judging you for that. I mean, because ultimately each person has to answer for their own actions. And and that's just my standpoint on that. So let me share with you today something that really helped me. I think that everything that I usually pick something from the week that I've been going through. And I'm going to tell you what I went through this week. Being a dad, they say you want to learn. If you want to learn a lot about something, then try to teach it while you're learning it. As you learn, try to explain to other people or learn it with the objective of teaching it to other people. And this is kind of how I did life, how I do my drawing. But being a parent, I'm 51 and I'm going to be straight up with you. I have 4 children. My first daughter, which I did not raise her because I was incarcerated. And my other children, I have my 3 children by my current wife. I've been there since day one with all 3 of them. So this is the first time I'm able to experience life on as a parent on this real level. And I got to tell you that it's life-changing. The more that engaged of a father that I am with them, the more I seem to learn and the more it changes me. So this week, in my adventures with my children, I have a 13-year-old daughter. And my daughter was concerned about something that she had been going through with a friend at school, right? One of her friends, and I'm just going to go straight to it, decided, I imagine, that she didn't want to be friends with her anymore for whatever reason. And she referred to my daughter as a pick-me. And now, if you don't know what a pick-me is somebody that will do anything for people to like them. Pick me. I'll do whatever. I'll say whatever. I'll dress up however. I'll act however. I will be at your beck and call whenever. If you just pick me. That's what a pick me is. And when she told me this, I told her, I said, baby girl, I said, this is something that I've always talked to you about ever since ever since she was little, and, and growing up, and I'm always going to continue to tell you about it because it's something that's very repelling toward people. I don't know if you can relate to, but people that go out of their way to try to make you like them, you usually wind up not liking them more. Or if you're depending on what type of person you are, you'll either not like them or you'll take advantage of them because of them wanting to be picked so badly. They'll do anything. So she told this to me again, and I told her, and I demonstrated to her through my action, through words or whatever, through whatever means that as we sat down and talked, I demonstrated to her that, look, you don't need people to like you. And in fact, I said, automatically assume that everybody doesn't like you. This way, you don't have to go there with them. In fact, I find that the more, as long as you're respectful to a person, but you let them understand that I am choosing to be a part of your life. I'm choosing to talk to you. I would think that that makes them feel more special. But in the back of their mind, they know that if they get to tripping, they'll get cut off. That's what makes me so attracted to my wife. A lot of guys want this girl that just push over. You can just say anything to them, do anything to them. They let you do whatever. Who the hell wants somebody to be? Who wants to be with somebody like that? What attracts me to her is the fact that I know there'll be consequences if I get to tripping. And vice versa. I'm not a pushover for her, and she's not a pushover for me. You get what I mean? And that really bonds us together. So that brings me to my word of the day. My word of the day today is called a narrow gate. And what does that have to do with being a pick-me, right? Well, think about it like this. Okay? We should only be concerned with, I tell my children, we should only be concerned with only one person liking us, and that's God. That's it. Because God holds our eternity in his hand. Like, what's ultimately going to happen in our life is up to him. Not up to no person. Not if somebody is walking on 2 feet like me, you don't have any power over anything. You just think you do. But guess what? Your 6 foot dirt hole, your 6 feet deep, is just going to be the same as my 6 feet deep. Yo, you're going to go from ashes to dust. Your decay is going to be mine. One day we will all be dead. Okay? You get sick like I do. You go to the bathroom like I do. You go eat at a restaurant. You do everything like I do. You might think, I got a little bit more money than you. So what? You will see how much that money means when you're dying. Or when you got to leave it to everybody else because you work for it your whole life and you got to leave it to somebody that don't even care, that's going to squander all of it. That mansion that you live in is going to be it's going to be some dried up place that nobody wants to go to. Right? If it's not already there. I'm just telling you this to just get things back in perspective for you. The narrow gate simply means that no matter what it is that we do in life, we need to be concerned about the right way to do it and not the way that we feel like it should be done. Right? The reason that I feel like, and I tell my children that we don't like to be told what to do is because human beings by nature just don't like any type of structure. Especially once you have a college degree, you start feeling like you know more than everybody else. Right? So let me read this scripture to you, and then I'm going to read some of the notes and stuff that I wrote down about it. And we're coming out of the book of Matthew. Book of Matthew, we're going to go to chapter 7, and we're going to go to verse 13. It says, you can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad. That means that the pick-me's, that's where the pick-me's are at. Those are the ones that choose to do everything to be accepted by this large mass of people that are going straight to hell. And I'm not just talking about hell after this. I'm talking about they trying to kill themselves. They're trying to do things that's going to hurt themselves right here on this side of heaven and hell. On this side, right now, let's just put it in all-day practical terms. They're doing things that are self-destructive. You know it, I know it, but just so we can be accepted, we follow this group of people. Right? Because everybody else is doing it, I'm going to do it. because everybody else thinks it, I'm going to think it. I'm scared that nobody's going to talk to me anymore, so I'm going to get on board. I want my kids to like me, so I'm not going to discipline the children. I heard this thing the other day, and the lady said it was thought provoking. She was a school district. She was a city leader, and she was talking in front of the school board, and she was talking about how the mayor is scared of the voters, and the voters, and then she went all the way down the line, all the way down. She said, I can't remember how she put it, but she was basically saying that the higher ups were scared of the voters, and then the voters were scared of the teachers, and the teachers were scared of the parents, and then the parents, are scared of this. And then they said, and then and the last one she said was the parents were scared of the children, right? And then she said, but the children ain't scared of nobody. So she was like, she walked it all the way down to say that everything went all the way back down to the younger generation, and the younger generation now has got to a point where they're like with these phones in their hand, they're like little robots. And the minute that they see something, right, that everybody else says is cool, they automatically jump on board. They don't do no thinking about it. They don't question it. They don't do nothing. It's because my friends are doing it. I want to be accepted by my friends. They become pick-me's. Pick me, pick me. I'll do anything to be accepted. Pick me, anything. I'll do it, anything. What do you want? I'll do it. I'll do it. Just somebody just recognize me. Somebody sign up. Somebody like me and subscribe. I'll make a complete fool out of myself on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, just so everybody will like me. Ooh, I'm going to get a lot of people that leave the stream right now. But that's okay. I'm going to tell you like it, because this way, when I stand before God, I won't be able to say I use my channel for my own selfish purposes. Okay? So, it says again, the highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide for the many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow, and the road is difficult, and only a few will ever find it. It's only a few people in this lifetime that you're going to meet that have the guts to stand up to the pick and not be a pick-me. Very few people in life. Most of the time we do things in this life, we're doing it because at the end of the day, we envy our neighbors. We're doing it so that we can meet a status quo of some kind. So what did I think about this? So I'm a big writer, so I'm gonna read my thoughts to you, and then that's gonna be our word of the day. You can enter understanding only through focus. Okay? In other words, you can't understand unless you focus. Today I taught you some drawing techniques that help you focus on what you should be focusing on in order to draw the face correctly, to get the likeness out of the face. Not so that you'll draw it like me, but what should you focus on to be able to draw the face convincingly as a cartoon or otherwise. But you can only enter that understanding through focusing on that which you're supposed to be focusing on. Things happen methodically. Listen, things happen methodically and not by chance. Everything happens for a reason. To achieve likeness in your drawings, you must follow rules. You can't just draw anything and expect to have a desirable outcome. With that being said, I guess to be great at anything, I always write my notes to myself, I have to obey its structure. In order for me to be great at anything, I have to obey the structure of it. I can think of innovative ways to retain structure or basics, but these things cannot be changed. I can think of, again, innovative ways to retain structure and the basics. But these basics and structures cannot be changed just because I don't like them. In other words, I get to choose where to apply them at. I can't change that they apply, though. As I think about this, I'm reminded of how everything now functions as it always has. As I look through and study art, I find that all teaching is based on the same structure from generations past. No matter what I show you on this channel, somebody's already said it. And they're going to keep saying it, and they're going to keep saying it, and whether you want to believe it or not, things, how you say, principles, situations change, principles of everything remain the same. There's no principle that has changed ever. That's why it says God's word is the same today. It'll be the same tomorrow. It was the same in the past. It's going to be the same in the future. It's nowhere that you're going to find it could change. Now, you can say that God never considered this because he never considered the way that I think, because you're so smart that you came up with something that no one's ever heard of before, and now you think that you know more than God. I also find that every time I meet uncertainty in my artwork, it's when I get away from structure. And I believe that I am clever enough to change it in some way. Every time I stop thinking that things are just basic circles, squares, triangles, then I start losing my way. So many different art teachers, they'll teach you all this stuff, this complicated rigmarole about how to do this or how to draw this and use these big words and stuff. But at the end of the day, if they will just come out and tell you that this is really just this simple, look for the simplicity in it, look for the basic structure in it, you would walk away with a better understanding. So I believe that to be true. It says structure mandates, we crawl before walking. The basis of walking is therefore hidden within crawling. Some of my other things that I ascertained from this, or I understood from this reading about narrow gates, is that as relates to drawing, regular lines come before fancy lines. Basic face structure comes before exaggerated face structure. So you have to learn the basis of the face first before you can exaggerate it. How is the face constructed? Basic shapes before features. You must think of each shape as a basic shape before you see it as a feature. I says learning to draw one thing will make it easy to draw multiple things. I've been drawing the face and stuff so long that when it came to drawing everything else, the same concepts and ideas I applied to learning how to draw everything else. So all of my other drawing endeavors went that much faster because of me learning just to draw the face. Another rule, the narrow gate. Remember, some things you can remember. The narrow gate that will help you to focus, not just on your drawings, but just in life in general. Conjugate with others that understand structure, and you will become structured. And here I put me and my wife. I was a very unstructured man at one time, and then I met my wife. My wife is a very structured person. And now I've become structured because of her structure. And then when I became a part of a church and I began to hang around men that were all married, and we all studied, we all studied the Word of God together. And so I began to become structured based off of just being around and absorbing the Word of God on a daily basis. It began to structure my life. Again, and that goes back to who you hang around, that's who you'll become. You will become what you surround yourself with. You will believe what you always hear, listen to, or watch. Listen to that. You will believe, no exception to the rule. You will start to believe what you always hear, what you always listen to, and what you are watching. So if you're whatever TV shows you're watching, whatever kind of music you listen to, you might not think it, but it's programming you. Every time you listen to it, it's programming you. It says no one knows it all except God who created all structure. No one hits the mark all of the time, but with structure, your percentages go up. Move like a robot at first. Trust the process and you will advance. Then I wrote, change comes in small increments, but small increments eventually equal changes. And again, you can write these down if you wish. Then it says here, I wrote, few are willing to believe structure or have discipline to follow structure. What seems foolish, God uses to confuse the wise people of the world. And above all of that, remember, and this is the last thing, that simplicity kills. Right? So when you drawing these drawings, these caricatures or whatever, and you're trying to decide, well, what artist should I be like? I like this guy's stuff. I want to incorporate this, or I want to do this. Remember, there's such thing as doing too much, being extra, right? So at the end of the day, don't be extra. So anyway, that's the word of the day today. My word of the day was, don't be a pick-me. Just because the world, everybody else is doing it, doesn't mean you have to do it. Remember, there's a way to do everything. God's already outlined. People talk about this morality and what's right and what's wrong. And I'm like, well, where did you get that from? How do you know what's right and what's wrong? Who's the author of that? And it was like, well, just because I feel, no, it's not, because it's because God put that in you to know about killing people and violating people and doing all that kind of stuff. It didn't just come out of nowhere. In other words, there is a structure to this life, and whether you want to accept it or not, you can't just do whatever the hell you want. I mean, yes, you can, but you're not free from the consequences of it. So all I'm just saying is that when you do whatever you want to do, don't cry when you get the consequences of it. Just go ahead and take it like a man or a woman. Take it like a woman. But don't get up there and say everybody did you wrong when you knew what you was doing was wrong and you just didn't want to hear it, and you did whatever you wanted to do. So again, don't be a pick-me. Don't just be a person that'll do whatever, say whatever, dress however, just be sloppy and just no and I don't even know what word to use, just no respect for yourself. Just because you want to be accepted by somebody, you gotta I gotta wear this, I gotta put these clothes on there so tight I can't even breathe in these clothes, right? I need to show this person how big this is or how big my muscle. You don't gotta be walking around like that. That's just, it's stressful for one thing to try to hold up this lie, because that ain't even really who you are. You just doing it just so somebody else can approve of you. And you can lie and say, well, I like this big and I'm done with this lie that I just do it because I dress like this. This is because it's for me. It's not for anybody else. Let's just not even go there. That's not real. That's a lie. You doing it because at the end of the day, it's acceptance. It's what everybody else is doing. Because how would you know to even dress like that if nobody else did it? There's something wrong today, I think, with covering up bodies. I don't know what it is. Everybody wants to be like with no clothes on all of a sudden. I don't get it. What's the big deal? You know? But it's really, we've turned it with this generation is in big trouble if we don't start putting God back into things, because everything, there's no rules to anything. Kids can talk to their parents any kind of way. Man, when I was a kid, if you better not call my mama to the schoolhouse. I don't be scared to death. Nowadays, call your mom I don't care if you call my mom. I'll get out of school early. You know, I saw the other day, I was at school, I was at work, and I'm standing at the front podium of a place where I draw at. Just, you know, people were coming in. Grandmother, little girl comes in. She get real smart with her grandmama. Well, grandma put hands on her. And I was like, amen, sister. You got to put them hands on, because you know what? No, sir, you're not supposed to be able to talk to your grandmama like that. The girl behind the counter, she a young girl, she looked and she said, oh, my God, if my mother ever put her hands on me like that, I would, you know. And I was sitting here looking at her like, you know, and that's probably why you are the way you are, because you don't get no discipline. You know, I always say I discipline my children. You know why? And I'm going to leave this alone after this, I swear it. But I discipline my kids because I got to teach them how to act, because in that street, when they do something wrong, they violate somebody's space, or they rule, or disrespect somebody, they don't care about you. They don't love you like I do. They're going to go right in your mouth, or worse than that. You don't teach your kid how to act. You know, when they go to a playground, some of the parents, I went to the playground, and some of the kids were just running around like crazy as hell. You know, just running over other kids, not saying excuse me, just, you know. And I was like, man, you know, the kids are a reflection of their parents. You know, this kid was standing right behind my son. He looked like he was about to hit my son. My son's a little kid. And this little kid was sitting there, I want to, and he was standing there, and he balled up his fist, and my son was looking the other way. So it was like my son had no idea what was going on behind him. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, I left the park after my son got out of the situation, but I went up there with I had his sister go up there and get it. And I said, I'm leaving right now today. I said, because if he would have hit my son, you know, now I would have, you know, there was going to be some problems. And then, you know, his dad could have got that. His mom could have got it too. You know what I mean? Because you don't teach your kid how to act. You just go around letting your kid do whatever the hell they want to do. So again, don't be no pick me. This is real talk today. I don't do no, when I share the word of God, it doesn't mean it's not about being a holy roller. It's about, hey man, let's get together and talk about something that's real. That's all this is. It's just totally real. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to go get me some breakfast or lunch or whatever time it is. What time is it? 12:30? Yeah, I'm going to go get me something to eat. But anyway, y'all be cool. If you did decide to tip, man, thank you so much. I appreciate your tips. Remember, you can tip at $Browser World on my Cash App, or you can do it through the Super Chat if you feel led to do that because you benefited from the art lessons today. All right. Well, you guys be cool. You have a great evening, and I'll see you next time.